Yeah, hi everyone. My internet is finally working so that way I could upload this video. And the MJC workshop isn't working, but today I'm doing my commemorative speech on a toast to Ken Griffey Jr. I'm gonna start now. Close your eyes and imagine a player so legendary and gifted that whenever you took the field, you could imagine the history about to take place in front of your very eyes. A player who swung so effortlessly and graciously, even known as the prettiest swing in baseball. A player who electrified stadiums and love for the game was bigger than his own size. Also, my voice is a little weird. I don't know what it is. This player is none other than Ken Griffey Jr., the kid, the baseball legend who would go on to leave an undeniable mark on the game and on the sport forever. Ken Griffey Jr. and his contributions to baseball and the Major League Baseball community don't amount to even as much as his stats do. His sportsmanship and impact on the game for years to come would provide to the game what an icon he was. Today we will toast to Ken Griffey Jr. and his major accomplishments during his career, his role not only to his team, but also the sport itself, and the influence he has on the community. Ken Griffey Jr. in his career had many milestones, which would go on to establish him as one of the greatest players to ever step foot on a baseball diamond. Griffey and his offense and defense achievements would be what set him apart from others as being one of the most complete players ever. This would mean like he's a five-star player. He's got speed, power, defense, throwing, and agility. Sorry, I sometimes forget. And Griffey had a record of 630 home runs, which is a testament to his immense power on offense. This What makes this record so much crazier in this era is that he was playing my goodness. What makes this I'm freezing up. What makes this record so much more impressive during this era is the time that it took place. He played in a time known as the steroid era. Big players left and right were being tossed and like ejected and basically becoming frauds because they would go around using steroids to get their accomplishments. However, Griffey was able to perform this even without and tested negative for everything that was out there. His raw talent and pure skill is what would help him be known as one of the best to play in the game today. Besides his legendary offense, Griffey and his defense was just as legendary. A crazy detail about this is that he won 10 gold gloves in 10 years in a row, consecutively. That's from the years 1990 to 1999. He had so many different acrobatic catches and the ability to just be able to cover so much ground that made him so hard to play against. Griffey was not only a prime example of what you would want to be on the field, but he was undeniably one of the most influential players on the culture of the game. People of today's day would go on to have a different perception on them and baseball itself. He would get a grip of this threshold and what it meant to be a star in the game, and he would go on to reject tradition and embrace modernity. In baseball, a sport seen as a more conservative one with many different unwritten rules in place, Griffey was a young and new breath of fresh air. He was one of the first what's it called, son and dad duos to ever play in a sports game. One unwritten rule that players really embrace is the backwards hat. Now, if you're a baseball player, it can often be seen as disrespectful to the game. However, when Griffey did it, it was just natural and forever seen as his signature look. Griffey showed you what it meant to have fun and be yourself, all while showing love for the game. With the way the market works in baseball, Griffey would go on to change the economy with the way he marketed himself. Bas- Basketball had Michael Jordan, we have Ken Griffey. Before his time, players weren't too caring about about endorsements, and they were actually relatively rel, relatively rare to come by. After Griffey made a partnership with Nike that would go on to change the game, it would forever change the game and how players went about their contracts. To the baseball realm, he was our Michael Jordan. Hmm. When we bring up athletes who changed their games, Griffey's name will always come up for baseball and how he set an example for athletes like me. There is no doubt that Ken Griffey set an example for the players of today's day. Even superstars from today, like Mike Trout and Bryce Harper, were talking about in their recent years and interviews how much Ken Griffey changed the game. For them, I mean. Sorry. And Trout even spoke on how Griffey and his work ethic, love for the game, and the way he prevents himself changed his love for the game forever. To be able to play the game with that much joy and passion, but also be at a competitive level and state of mind was so inspiring. It would help us learn that there's levels to this, and we shouldn't all approach the game the same way. In 2016, when Jr. would go on to break even more records, this time at the Hall of Fame level, with a record-breaking 99.3 voting percentage on his induction to the Hall of Fame, it would show how much pride a player should have to have such a successful career and to be honest and truthful about it with a good reputation of no cheating. The Hall of Fame would be a crowning achievement for him and validate everything that happened before them. When we celebrate Ken Griffey Jr., we won't be just celebrating his achievements, but also the image that he's brought to baseball and everyone who would become after him. Not only did he play baseball, he raised the standards, gave fans a piece of history, something to cheer for, something to never forget, leaving a legacy. And as long as baseball exists, so does Ken Griffey Jr.'s name and spirit for the game. Thank you.